St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
It's now time for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Also, this hour is sponsored by Twin Peaks Bar and Grill out in Robinson, 200 Park Manor Drive. Eat, drinks, and scenic views at the Twin Peaks in Robinson.
All right. Out with it. What's the views? Now, I was going to go to.
They're scenic.
I was going to one week. You invited me. It was a day of your show. You said, "Hey, why don't we go eat at this place? It's called Twin Peaks. It's in Robinson Township." I couldn't make it, and you keep talking about these scenic views. Bryan, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about this. It's now a sponsor of the show.
Today anyway.
Okay, awesome.
We'll see how this goes.
All right.
So here's the situation. So I got off work today at about noon, which is earlier than normal. I usually quit about 2:30 and get here early enough to do some more research and so today I was done at 12. So I was like, I'll go up to Twin Peaks on the way here on 376 out there in Robinson, and I'll watch the Pirates game because it was on at 1:10 today.
Okay.
Twin Peaks has 58 TVs.
Wow.
58. Listen, I had Jules count it. She didn't count it once. She didn't count it twice. She didn't count it 3 times. She counted 4 times for me how many TVs they had. Meanwhile, the manager came out and said 58 while Jules was counting. She went on for another 10, 15 minutes counting.
Now, you mentioned this Jules. I mean, you're talking about her like, have you had her as your
Yes.
waitress before?
Jules and Delaney were my bartenders today, and I got some tacos there. The tacos were really good. The shells were awesome.
I think if Jules and who, Delaney?
Delaney, yes.
If Jules and Delaney hear this, they're going to be excited, man, because they've been the main topic of the show so far.
Yes. That was great. Like 58 TVs.
The TVs are great.
I mean, there was literally everything from golf to, 18 different ESPNs to, Fox Sports. And I mean, you name it. It was all sports, 58 TVs. The food was great. The service was great.
Now, what kind of food is this again? I'm sorry.
Wait, they serve food? Yeah, I mean, whatever you want. There's sandwiches, there's entrees, there's salads, whatever you want.
Okay. Is it a buffet?
No.
And is it a grill? Is it a bar and grill? You could go to the bar area or...
Well, typically if I go out by myself, I sit at a bar.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, I don't want to sit at a table by myself. Sitting at the bar by yourself, you don't feel as awkward, I guess.
Right.
So, yeah, I was by myself. Met this dude two seats down, John. He seemed like a nice guy. We were talking about the Pirates pretty much the whole time.
Nice. And this was during while the Pirate game was on.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. You got to check it out, everybody. Go check out Twin Peaks in Robinson Township. I got to check this out, Bryan. All I hear is good things. Of course, I have to get up there to check out the 50-some TVs, which would be obviously why you would go.
Jules may still be counting them. It was so funny. The manager was just like, just let her keep going.
And you said there was 58?
58
Wow.
TVs. Yes. I mean, and they're all huge. There's not like little ones. They're freaking like half a wall.
Now, this isn't a sports bar per se. It's just a place, but they have a lot of TVs that have a lot of different sports on.
They have eat, drinks, and scenic views.
Okay.
Scenic views.
And
that's what it says on the outside.
That's their thing then.
Yeah. And then there's a picture of like 2 mountains. I have no idea what that's in reference to at all.
I'm sure TVs.
Yes,
but,
probably.
That's cool. I have to check this place out. Twin Peaks. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I got to watch, Rowdy Tellez get his average up even higher today. The Pirates win 6-1 over the Reds, and they put themselves at 39-41. In a later segment, Ryan, I would like to, since we are just one game under halfway through the season, I would like to rate every player
I would love
on
to
the
do
team of relevance. There's a few that we're not going to go over.
Okay.
And so in a later segment, I'd like to do that with you, and we'll rate our expectations preseason and how they've done the first half.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds like great. That sounds fun. Sounds fun.
Yes, it's always fun here at
Especially when
One
you
Man's
go to
Opinion.
Twin Peaks before you come to work here, right? It's I got to check this place out.
Yes, you definitely do. You definitely do. So special thanks to Jules and Delaney. They did an awesome job today. Can't thank
One
them
quick
enough.
question: What was the manager's name that came out? And
She did. You know what? I was going to ask, and she didn't come back out a second time,
Okay.
so I didn't. I was going to get her name.
I thought you was going to say that it was
she
a
came
guy,
out real quick.
and you were like, "Oh, I have no clue what his name was." But Jules,
No,
Delaney,
it was a lady. It was a lady.
Destiny, and everybody else, you know their names.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
They have name tags.
I will check it out. Of course.
They somehow find a spot on their very small shirts to put the name tags.
So I imagine there's probably people that's listening that has been there and can totally relate and understand what you're saying. I kind of get it, but I got to check it out. I got to see for myself.
Yes, scenic views.
All right.
Scenic views.
Scenic
Eats,
views.
drinks, scenic views.
All right.
All right. So the Pirates are now 39-41. Unfortunately, those darn Cardinals, they are 40-37 after that horrific start.
It really is unbelievable. And I was talking about this a little bit the other day. To me, it seems that this is a product. What's going on with St. Louis? They were in the basement. They were deep in the basement. I think they were 10 games out at one point. I think that what you're seeing here with the Cardinals, you could kind of relate with what we have with the Steelers. We just have a winning football organization. The Cardinals, they win. They know how to win. They're always a winning organization, not as of the past year and a half. But you know what? This team, this locker room, the organization, they know how to win. And they're showing that now because they don't have great players on their team. They have a team that's very similar to ours. They have a carpenter who's back on the team, who he's got to be about 60 years old now, right?
He does have white hair.
He does have white hair. So I think a little bit what's going on here, it's just an organization that is so used to winning. As the Steelers, when we have a bad season, we still find ways to win games in weird ways and upset teams that we're not supposed to. I think that it's that. Beyond that, I can't explain because, again, they're not that good of a team. They're not playing much better baseball than the Pirates are. But here they are. They're soaring up the standings.
There are now 6 teams in the National League with winning records, and we know 6 teams do make the playoffs. The Phillies, of course, have 52 wins. They are in first place. The Dodgers have 50 wins. They are 50-31. Then the Brew Crew has 47 wins. They're 47-33. Then you have the Braves, who have 43 wins. The Padres now have 43 wins, and the Cardinals have 40 wins.
Yeah.
Sitting back with 39-37 wins is the Diamondbacks, the Mets, the Nationals, the Pirates, the Giants, the Reds, the Cubs. All those teams, I think they're going to have to catch the Cardinals at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're right in that list, as you mentioned, and I think something that we have that kind of goes in our favor, and I don't know, could be going against us, but after this Braves series starting this weekend, we come back home and we play St. Louis, and then we have the Mets for 4. You mentioned 2 of those teams being teams right there within the meat of those teams that you named as being teams that are, trying to get this wild card as well. Those 7 games when we get back to Pittsburgh can be very important. Again, not a good St. Louis team, not a great Mets team. They've been playing good lately, but we could maybe gain a little bit of momentum after those 2 series.
Yeah, so all 10 games that we have left here are versus teams going for the wild card. The Braves,
Yes.
we're at Atlanta. They're 43-33. You go sweep them. We're right there with them.
That's a big if. Okay, I'm sorry.
And then
I was
like
thinking
you
about
said,
Twin Peaks, but
and then, there's a radio show today. So yeah, then there's the Cardinals, at home, 3 games there. And then, like you said, we have 4 against the Mets, and you've got to win 7 of those 10. If you win 4 or 5, you just are where you are.
I think 6 is the key number that you're going to look at here, because going to Atlanta is tough. Going to Atlanta is tough for anybody. Going to Atlanta for the Pirates is historically difficult to do. To think that we could go down there and win 2 games. We won 2 here against the Braves. I think Atlanta is the place that we want to. If we're going to lose the games, lose it in Atlanta. They're a little bit further than everybody else in the wild card. Let's forget them. Let's try to catch our way up to St. Louis. Let's try to push the Mets back a little bit. Those are the teams that I think that we're contending with. Atlanta, I say let's go down there and just try to make the best of it and see what kind of baseball we could play. But I think when we come home is when it's going to heat up.
Well, I have 3 concerns, okay, during the game. I want to read this quote from Lou Brown. Do you remember the manager from the Cleveland Indians?
Yes.
Okay, Lou Brown from the make-believe Cleveland Indians in the movie Major League. Okay, we won a game yesterday. If we win today, it's called 2 in a row. And if we win again tomorrow, it's called a winning streak. It has happened before. The Pirates need to get on a winning streak.
Yeah, the Pirates are the real-life Cleveland Indians from the major leagues. There's no 2 ways about it. That movie that movie was made about the Pirates.
Right. I think you could just sub in the Pirates. You know, I hear baseball players make good money these days. Well, it depends on how good you are. Well, how good are you? I make the league minimum. That's the Pirates. The bunch of guys that make the league minimum and a handful of other guys.
And I've been saying this a lot lately, too. These relievers really have to watch themselves here. You don't want to not play good enough, because you know the big brothers around the league, your Yankees, your Dodgers, teams like this, are always watching the Pirates for those kind of players to pluck out of their system. These relievers have to watch themselves. They might end up on a really good team, Brian, is all I'm trying to say. And
Well, I have a question. Okay, so this is one of my concerns today as watching the game. It was so nice to. Typically, I listen to the games, and you can listen to them here on 99.3 Beaver County Radio. I like to listen to the games while I'm at work, but I actually got off work at noon and was able to watch the game. One thing I noticed, there was I don't know who the player was. One of the Reds, he hit a double. He's standing on second base, and O'Neal Cruz was talking to him. He covered his mouth with the glove as if he's like top secret information to the other team. I don't understand that. Right. But I didn't think O'Neal Cruz could speak English.
No, he speaks alien. As a matter of fact, it takes 3 different translators to translate what. You know what? It's a very good point. I noticed early in the game there was a bad. What was it? Was it a call? Was it something that happened? You know what it was? It was the pitcher. I can't remember. He struck O'Neal Cruz out, and something was said back and forth. There was a brief word said back and forth. And I thought to myself, how does O'Neal Cruz know what that pitcher's yelling at him, and vice versa? But that kind of falls in that category. He doesn't speak English at all.
Okay, here's my biggest concern. Okay, everybody, if you're driving, please pull off to the side of the road. Take caution here. Make sure your seatbelt's on. Make sure your airbags work. Here's my biggest concern. What happened to Hannah Mears? Who is this blonde girl doing all the interviews in game?
I didn't catch it. I don't know. How long has this been going on?
The last couple games I saw.
Oh, wow.
Is she on vacation maybe? And she has her friend helping out? I don't know. It's a blonde girl. I don't know who she is.
Maybe she just doesn't go to Cincinnati.
I wouldn't want to go to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to keep my eye on that, Brian. I didn't notice. I noticed I've seen Hannah somewhat recently, but now that you say that, I'm kind of questioning. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'm very, very concerned about Hannah. I hope everything's okay. If you just want to text me or whatever and let me know that you're all right, I would appreciate that, Hannah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got so much to talk about today. I'm happy the Pirates are winning, and I'm happy they're keeping at least my attention.
Yeah.
Because the summers can get really long as a Pirates fan, and so it's embarrassing a lot of times, and they're doing just enough to keep me interested.
They are 1 game under 500 on the road. They are 1 game under 500 at home. In this game that they're going to play on Friday night, the very next game that they play will be the 81st game of the season, Brian. This baseball season is long and drug out as it feels sometimes, and drawn out. It's halfway through. These Pittsburgh Pirates sit 2 games under 500. I say if they win their game in Atlanta, we include that in the record when we say we're 1 game under. But right now we're going to stick with it being 2, because I don't know what's going to go down in Atlanta. You're right. They're doing just enough. It puts me a lot in mind of the team from '97. I don't know if you could recall that team at all. It had Jason Kendall, a bunch of these guys, but they did just enough all season.
Who was their left fielder?
Their left fielder was Al Martin.
Okay.
First baseman was Kevin Young. Tony Womack was the second baseman.
Yes, Tony Womack.
Remember the squad? And And that's what they did. They made it all the way to the end of the year, and I think they finished 3 games under. They lost a couple games against Houston that they needed to win at the very end of the season. They missed the playoffs, but this team, the team itself doesn't, but the way the season's turning out feels a lot like that year.
Well, we have so much more to talk about. We do have to take a 2-minute break here, so don't go anywhere. Make sure you guys stay tuned here. We will be talking about more sports when we come back. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
You're busy, no time to cook, you're hungry, and the kids are too. Don't stress. Make it a McDonald's dinner tonight. Download the app and get McDelivery right to your door. Whatever you're hungry for, McDonald's has it. You're happy, the kids will be too. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjsprattfh.com.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Brian, I really love this music. Whenever I go home on Wednesday nights, this goes through my head over and over.
It is good music. It is good music.
I guess it beats Werewolves from London, which was stuck in my head last night.
Wasn't there like Werewolves in Paris? Wasn't that the sequel?
I don't know. I just know that I heard that Werewolves in London, and I couldn't get it out of my head.
Ow! All right. Well, you know what? Before we get into this here, I do want to say today is a very special day to me. And I know a lot of times on the show, I have to have some shout outs for some birthdays with family members. But today, my daughter turns 18 years old. Happy birthday, Isabella. 18 years old. I said she's in Ocean City with her friends for like senior week or something or whatever, you know, so she's out having a good time. They're going to Touch of Italy or something tonight to eat or whatever it is. I don't know. Nice. Probably some fancy thing, right? And I said, well, you know, now that you're 18, like, you know, you're an adult, what are you going to do? And she goes, I'm going to drive after 11. I said, well, you should get like a lottery ticket or something, you know, at least play the lottery once and donate that money.
I think you're going to be just fine when she goes away. I do want to say this. I do want to say happy birthday. Brian does talk a lot about you. He says a bunch of great things. And you know what? Congratulations and good luck moving forward.
All right. Well, before we get into any of that, the phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. I do want to get into the sponsors real quick. We'll go through this really quick here. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. Also, make sure you get down to Twin Peaks in Robinson, 200 Park Manor. Go say hi to Jules and Delaney for me. You know, there's eat, drinks, and scenic views. 58 large TVs. 58. And don't forget about those scenic views.
There you go, everybody. The scenic views.
All right. So we were talking about the Buccos up to 39-41. And I was talking to Frank, the general manager here, before you before you got in here, Ryan, and we were saying that every time the Pirates get close to 500, that they end up losing a few in a row. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. And so they are now 39-41. The Cardinals, however, are 40-37. So I think that's the benchmark that we need to get to. Dawn's on the line. Dawn, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. What's on your mind, Dawn?
Oh, we only have, it's slightly over 24 hours before the great debate, is it not?
I believe so. You might have to call it on thinking logically. I'm sure he has a one-sided opinion on that.
Sports show.
This is a sports show, yes.
This the sports show.
This is the sports show.
I do got to say this, Dawn.
But we can talk about the debate.
Absolutely. I find it odd
What?
because here we are.
We can on a sports show?
I check this out, guys. June 26th, I have not seen one sign in the yard, not Biden, not Trump. I haven't seen any of the signs on the side of the road. Does this feel like the furthest thing from an election year to you guys, or is it just me?
Are you talking to me or your other host?
Yeah, go ahead, Dawn.
Okay. It is strange. I'm sorry. I thought it was I just woke up from a nap. Have you ever picked up one of those little bargain newspapers, and they have really cool stuff in, things you can buy, things you can sell. Mm-hmm. They're free at the little convenience stores.
Oh, absolutely.
Such as that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, they have 10 to 11, 9 to 11 trivia questions every week.
Oh.
It might be about the Patty Duke show. It might be how many home runs Willie Starrs will hit, whatever, movies, trivia. And I always like to see how many I get the first day. And then when I get bored, I'll look at it later in the week, and each day you might pick up another one. So we have a guy that's supposed to be the commander-in-chief. He has been sequestered for 7 or 8 days. So he's basically going to do what I do with the weekly news bulletin and memorize 8 or 10 bullet statements, and then the Whoopi Goldbergs of the world are going to say how lucid he was. Let me tell you something. I've got a bad right leg. There's multiple injuries. If they shot me up with what they shot him up with, I could get out there on the field with the Steelers on special teams. How jacked up do you think he's going to be tomorrow night?
You'd be out there running like Troy Polamalu did.
I tell you what.
Oh, easily. I don't have the pretty hair, but yeah. I'm sorry, it's a sports show.
No,
I need something.
I tell you
I'm
what,
so
Dawn.
Sorry.
I tell you what, you did a perfect. You found a perfect way to twist it in, and it all came back to Troy Polamalu. Let me answer your question for you. I find it so interesting to see how this is going to turn out tomorrow. Joe Biden, they're weaning him back into the daylight. To being awake.
Is he out of his cellar yet, Ryan?
He might be, but I tell you what, it's going to be very interesting. I'm so interested to see how Joe Biden handles the whole thing. Not just what he says; he's going to say what they feed him. But on the other hand, I want to see his actions. I want to see his mannerisms and the way that he responds. But Dawn, we do thank you so much for your call. And
Dawn, I have one question before we have to let you go. What's under,
that?
how many times will Donald Trump call him Crooked Joe? The over-under is 5.
Oh, I'm going to take 5.
All right, Dawn. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate you, sir.
Have a good day.
Enjoy
Thank you.
tomorrow night.
Okay.
all right, take care. That was a nice call from Dawn. Great to hear from everybody, no matter what they're talking about. And you know what? I'm very interested about this debate tomorrow as well, too, Brian. I can't wait.
Here's the situation. I was talking to Scap Attack, my favorite YouTuber.
Yes.
And we were talking about the YouTube channel that I'm going to be creating. I'm going to do about like 5 to 15 minute long videos of whatever's going on in sports. And Scap actually said, are you going to just stick to sports, or are you going to get into politics? And I'm like, you know what? Because I'm very into politics. I'm a huge libertarian, if anybody wants to know. I register as a Republican so that I can vote in the primaries for the Republicans, but I am a libertarian. I want the smallest government possible. I want the least amount of taxes possible, blah, 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 blah. Basically, I want the opposite of communism.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand, and I've considered maybe doing 2 posts a week to start my YouTube channel, one being sports and one being politically rich. So I don't know. I'm into politics, Don. What can I say?
Whatever you're into, you know what I mean? Do what you're into, man. And because here's the thing, if you know what you know about what you're into, people want to know that. They want to hear what you have to say and what your opinions are. And Like
yeah,
one
but then
man,
people cry and they get all upset because you don't believe the same thing they believe. That's the problem. That's why I like the sports show.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you LeBron James is the most overrated athlete of all time, and I don't think too many people are going to get upset. Now, if I told you Joe Biden should be in prison because of his actions and he's done, now half the audience is going to leave, or vice versa if I said that about Trump, blah, blah, blah. You know?
I absolutely agree with. At least with sports, you could always go back and look at the numbers. You could tell me that your team's better than mine. I could open a book. I could show you right on the page, hey, this is what happened last time we played. This is our record against you all the time. Sports and numbers, they go hand in hand. Politics, that leaves so much open to interpretation and opinion, and I think that's where you get a lot of problems.
Yeah, like if you were counting the votes on the last election and then you just added up how many millions came in a week later.
Yeah.
You'd have a rough time adding all that up.
I know. You know, the thing is, I don't know the answer. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors with these people. But at the end of the day, when you could smell when something ain't right. And last election was very bizarre for me.
So we know Joe Biden. He doesn't know what's going on a lot of times. Like it's clear as day.
Obviously,
my parents, my dad's mother and father, so my grandparents grew up here in New Brighton, and both of them passed away from Alzheimer's. So I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I'm no doctor and I'm not here to judge anybody, but like you could tell, obviously the brain is going away with him. Here's my sports related brain problem though.
Okay.
At one point today, were you watching when Ortiz had the ball on the mound? Somebody stole second base.
I didn't catch that.
Yes, they stole second while he had the ball on the mound.
How does that happen?
The catcher gets up and pointing, and by the time he turned, he already had second base. What was Luis Ortiz doing there?
I don't know. I missed that. I had a few things to do before I started getting ready for the show today. I missed a lot of the second part of the game.
Was one of them a nap?
It was. Yes, I had to take my day nap. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. I didn't see that.
Yes.
But did you see, Brian? If you don't mind me changing the subject slightly, did you see the Reds pitcher, last name Farmer, yesterday dropped the ball on the mound before he faced.
Were the Reds
inning.
fans chanting Farmer, Cueto, anything like that?
They were not, but my observation is this now. Take it back to October 2013 when Johnny Cueto dropped his ball. Very next batter hit the ball out. Matter of fact, we hit 2 home runs that inning. It was a what was the catcher?
Russell
Martin, and also...
I don't know who hit the other home run, but yeah, Martin was the next pitch. I know that. I can't remember who hit.
Bird.
Bird is the word.
Bird is the word. Those two guys. Okay,
word.
so now let me start over. With that being said, that game right there, Johnny Cueto dropped his ball, 2 home runs. Yesterday, Hunter Green, the pitcher for the Reds, throws up everywhere on the mound.
Yeah, what was going on with that?
Dude, he just ralphed right on the mound. He turned after right there.
That sounds stinky.
Yeah. And so he throws up on the mound. He gives up a home run to the very next batter, Brian Reynolds. Farmer gives up, he drops the ball off the mound in the 5th inning. He gives up a home run in that inning. Three different times there was a blunder of some sort on the mound with the Reds pitchers pitching to the Pirates, and all 3 of them gave up a home run that inning.
Did you know that Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy and Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln?
Unfortunately, I do. Yes, I know this.
Yes.
But and there's a whole list of oddities about those two.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Are you going to watch the debate?
I am. I'm excited about it.
I know this is sports, but like now that Don's got the debate on my... How many are there? There's 2, correct? And I don't think any of them are going to be on Fox because I'm sure Biden wouldn't agree to that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's 2. I get into it not to get into the debate with people and conversate and make enemies. I watch it because I am interested. I'm interested in what they have to say. I'm interested in watching them, their mannerisms, see how they act, how they respond. So I'm very much interested. But as I said, I think what's even more interesting is you don't even realize that it's an election year. I see no signs.
I mean, outside of a couple commercials that I've seen, yeah, you're right. I haven't seen too many. I've seen some big Trump flags, you know,
have you? Okay, see,
here and there, but like
that.
not like yard after yard after yard.
Yeah.
It's just like one person that's, you know.
Which I'm sure it's coming. There's no 2 ways about it, but it just seems odd. Here we are again. July is less than a week away, and you still don't hear anything.
July.
But we have the debates tomorrow, and I'm excited about it because
what time is it? Is it like prime time, like 8, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. What is it, like an hour long or 10 hours? I don't know how long these debates are.
I don't recall.
Yeah. See, like I won't watch the debates, but I will watch clips of the debate.
Yeah.
Because
the highlights.
I just, to me, it's like I don't know. Biden's been in office, working just working off the tax dollars for his whole life, my whole life anyway. It's like, I know what he's done. I know what his agenda is. It's like, what new could he possibly tell me that's going to make me be like, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for that guy.
Well, especially between these two gentlemen, it seems to me like you're going to get a little bit more, mud flinging, I guess you could call it, and things like that. I don't know if this.
That's why I like Trump. He's not scared to just say what's on his mind.
Right. I agree. I agree.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to actually talk about sports. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Everyone at Moon Township Ford is looking forward to the Beaver County Boom Saturday, June 29th. Moon Township Ford is the presenting sponsor of this exciting event broadcast, and just like the explosion of colors you'll be seeing, Moon Township Ford is exploding with special financing and financing just in time for all your summer activities. They know that for families who like to travel and vacation, the Ford F-150 truck is the vehicle for you. No matter where your summer vacation takes you, you can be sure that a Ford F-150 from Moon Township Ford will make your adventure much more fun. No wonder that it's the most popular vehicle sold in the U.S. Ford's F-150 is the quintessential American truck to celebrate all of the summer holidays. Get going now to Moon Township Ford showroom on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris, where they're celebrating summer savings and proudly presenting the Beaver County Boom broadcast on Beaver County Radio.
Delconi's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
It started with a road trip into the American Midwest. Huntington bankers with one mission, to understand how people made sense of money. And that's how we met Dontel.
How do we control cash flow? Calendar, dates marked for invoices, when payroll hits.
It's messy, but it gives us a sense of what's coming.
And that's how we came up with a tool that helps businesses forecast cash flow digitally. Our customers give us the best ideas. Huntington, welcome. Member FDIC. Learn more at huntington.com.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, coming to you live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
I'm Patty.
And I'm Bob. We're retired, and we live at St. Barnabas in the Village.
We used to have a house.
Lived in it for 40 years.
Raised our kids.
But it became too much. The upkeep, the stairs.
Moving seemed like such a hassle. We didn't even know where to start, so we didn't.
Until we met Cindy at St. Barnabas.
She talked us through our options.
Yeah, and she helped us with our move and all the arrangements.
There was so much stuff. Who knew we had 3 fondue pots?
But she made it easy.
So easy.
Now we enjoy ourselves.
Golf, the pool, new friends, shuttles to where we want to go.
The pub and the food.
So good.
There wasn't a long-term commitment or any large fees.
And they have a healthcare system on campus with doctors if we need it. The kids really like that.
The kids like to come and eat with us.
There's an easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Also, make sure you stop on down to Twin Peaks in Robinson, 200 Park Manor Drive in Robinson, PA. They have eats, drinks, and scenic views, as well as 58 large televisions. Sports, scenic views, eats, and drinks. Make sure you say hi to Jules and Delaney and tell them that One Man's Opinion sent you.
Hey. You know what? You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna go up there next week and have your lunch before the show, and they're gonna say, "Hey, the phones wouldn't stop. They rang off the hook last week."
Right. We were so busy. We had to hire twice as many staff, and everybody came in with one man's opinion shirts and
That's
hats.
right.
And I mean, it gets going. It's like Girls Gone Wild at Twin Peaks or whatever it is.
That's right.
Remember that disclaimer, lady. She'll get you every time. All right, so the Buccos win. They're 30-9 and 41. When is the All-Star break? Do we just have 10 games and then the All-Star break is, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are one game under halfway through the season. I wanted to rate the players, Ryan, see what you rate the players. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
If a player, let's say a player's batting 250 and they were supposed to stink,
yes,
they would probably get a higher rating than a player that's supposed to be a 300 batter that's batting 250. So this rating isn't on overall. It's based on, are you a role player? Are you supposed to be a star? So, keep that in mind.
Okay.
Your expectations for your higher paid player versus your league minimum guys.
Okay. I do want to say, let me just jump in here real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, if the camera isn't on Ryan, he is looking through his phone as if the answer's in there. I don't know what he's looking for. He might be Googling the address for Twin Peaks in Robinson.
I just got my Twin Peaks wallpaper up here on my phone. But no, I just want to just say real quick, they play the Braves this weekend, then they come home to play the Cardinals for 3, the Mets for 4, as we said. And then after that, they go to Milwaukee for 3, and then to play the the Chicago White Sox on the road, and then it's the All-Star break. The All-Star break.
So we have 16 games. Why is okay? So we're halfway through the season.
Well,
give or take.
Yes.
Why is the All-Star break so late?
Because I don't think they could. Because if they did it halfway through the season, it would start this weekend, and that's too early. It would still be June. I think that there's that general time.
Where is the All-Star game?
Texas, maybe.
Yeah, remember they moved. If we're talking politics, remember they moved it from Atlanta to
yeah.
a state that had harder, more difficulties to vote.
Yes. So there's a 5-day period between the 15th, the 14th and the 19th that for the All-Star break that time, and then they come back after that, Brian, on July 19th at home to start a series against Philadelphia. So I mean, let's get our wins now, because when we come back, it's not going to get much easier after.
When I came up with this list, Ryan, I wrote it down in an order, and I'm going to go to the complete opposite of how I wrote it down, because I think it's a little bit more climatic.
Okay.
To do it this way. Michael A. Taylor. You're great on him.
I give him a D. I give him a.
That is exactly what I have written, a D.
He hasn't really done much to impress me at all. He came off of a 21 home run season last year, where I think that he pulled a lot of Pirate fans in with that. But he's to this point, he has 1 home run. We're at the halfway point here in another game. He has 1 home run, and I got to be honest with you, he doesn't even get a majority of the time out in center field, where it's usually Jack Sawinski. So I think that he's certainly underachieving. I got to give him a D, a solid D.
All right, Bart, the catcher.
I like Bart. If Bart could stay healthy, Bart would be one of my favorites. He's productive at the plate. He's good on defense. As a matter of fact, he was supposed to be Buster Posey's the next guy in line down there in San Francisco. It didn't work out that way for him. I thought we would see a resurgence. We did. If he could stay healthy, I say we keep this guy around.
So what grade?
For what he's done, for when he's been here, I give Bart a B minus.
Okay, a B minus. I had him down for a B.
Okay.
On another show, it's so funny. It's a terrible show. I like I say, I'm embarrassed that I watch it, listen to it, and I listen to it just because I want to hear what they're talking about, so that whenever I do the sports show, I can make fun of them. The argument, and I really actually like this guy. His argument was that they were talking about trading Henry Davis. And you should get rid of him, blah, 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 blah. And they were talking about, well, we have Bart, and he was the number 2 pick overall. Yeah. And that was his argument to keep that he liked Bart, that he was the number 2. But Henry Davis was the number 1 pick overall.
Yeah.
So how is that your argument?
Well, I mean, from Henry Davis, what we're seeing is a lot similar to what happened to Bart out in San Francisco. We thought that this guy would be able to come in with that number 1 and jump in right away and be productive and be a day-to-day guy and have results from him. But that's not the case, where we're getting Joey Bart on the second wave, where he now is playing the way that you wanted him to as a young man. So I don't totally disagree with this. If you could use him for some leverage to maybe bring in some positions that we need, But plan on keeping Joey Bart around for a while because that's the guy that you wanted to get.
Well, you're going to have Andy Rodriguez back next
And you
season
will have
anyway. And
Andy
you'd assume
back,
he's going to be
yes.
your everyday starter anyway.
You would assume.
So, speaking of Henry Davis, what is your grade on him?
I'm so disappointed with Henry. I had such high hopes for him so far. It's been one thing after another. He can't hit the breaking pitch. He's had a hard time staying healthy. Brian, as much as it pains me to, I'm going to give Henry Davis a D. I didn't want to. I wouldn't have thought that I would have had to, but I think he's a solid D.
Okay, I have, out of all the players I have written, I don't have everybody on the team, but everybody that's I think is important, I gave one F-.
Okay.
And it is Henry Davis.
Okay.
An F-. I don't understand how you could be the number one pick and you can't even play a position.
Yeah.
And you most certainly can't hit. And why does he pull everything? Like, he hits every ball foul that he does make contact to. Like,
yeah.
Move up in the box. I don't understand it.
And if you, from my show, I got to say, can you really blame all the hitting on all the hitters? What kind of hitting coach help do we have up there? Who's working with these guys? Because I know Henry Davis is a very serious-minded guy when it comes to work. He spends a lot of time in the film room. He spends a lot of time working on things that he needs to. Who's working with these guys? Because it doesn't seem like it's benefiting the hitters on his team.
No, we remember from the article that when Brian Hayes went down and asked the Altoona hitting coach for some help, and the hitting coach actually helped Brian Hayes, and then they fired him for helping Hayes because it upset the major league hitting coach. And it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So we will probably okay, we do have a caller. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Hi. Do you guys like fun facts?
Absolutely.
Only if they're fun.
Absolutely. What do you got, Jerry?
Jason DeLay has 15 at-bats this year, and he has 6 RBIs. Henry Davis has 85 at-bats this year. He has 5 RBIs.
Wow.
So who said F-?
Brian did. Wow, he nailed that, didn't he?
You can use that.
I mean, DeLay had 2 doubles today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only concern about DeLay is if he was an everyday guy. You know what I mean? How they tried to have Henry Davis just be that catcher.
He won't be everyday.
Right, and that's why I think his production would go down. But for what he's doing, I think DeLay's doing fantastic. And the number that you just threw out there, that's wild.
He's a terrific number 2 catcher. You bring him in once, twice a week at the most.
Right.
Isn't he the one that worked with Mitch Keller last year?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like that personal catcher type thing.
Yes.
That worked okay. But, if you look at his stats last year, he had a much higher batting average than Henry Davis and Andy Rodriguez.
Oh, for sure. He was batting around 300 most of the year. I think he ended up over 280.
I don't know if it was that high, but I think he was around 250, and the other guys were in the low 200s. It was, it's a small sample size. When you only have so many at bats and things, it's easier to have a higher average. It levels out after a while, but those guys were supposed to be much better and to be that much lower than he was. I think they were like 30, 40 points lower than him. And that's kind of bad when that's your future.
Yeah, Rodriguez, his bat does not impress me at all. So we'll see. We'll see if he can be productive at the plate, because I would assume they're going to start him next season, and that's going to be your pretty much 4 or 5 days a week catcher.
I hope in a way that they keep DeLay and let Grandal go next year as far as backup goes, because I don't think Grandal's given him that much.
No, and you know what? Grandal's been he's been kind of worrying me in a sense. There's been things on defense where I don't know if you caught that game last week where he's throwing the ball back to the pitcher, and it was the pitcher had to jump and catch it and chase the ball every time,
and then stole home on him.
And then there was a play when a guy was stealing second, and he takes the ball and he throws it instead of going to the second baseman. It went clear out in right center field. I'm beginning to wonder if Grandal is okay. Maybe the guy just needs a break.
Well, maybe his arm's starting to go too. He's an older guy, but I mean, they brought him in to be like somebody who works good with the pitchers, and his hitting's worse than the other guys. I mean, there's just not very much out of him. I keep DeLay as a second catcher and build out then from that, I guess. But I like that Bart, too. I think he's kind of a good guy to have around.
I think, we're getting him on his second wave, too. I like that. He's a little bit more mature now. He knows the league. He's not trying to learn everything at once. And we might just be getting the better version of Joey Bart. And, San Francisco just did not.
Well, what is he, 27 years old?
I think so, about 27.
Henry Davis is 24.
You're right.
It's not like you've got 38-year-old Joey Bart coming in and taking the job from him. Henry Davis doesn't show me anything.
You know what? I'm so disappointed in Henry Davis, Jerry. I just thought that he was such a ball player. I was getting a vibe from him that this guy was going to be able to do a little bit of everything, and he's really, really disappointed me to this point for sure.
Well, his big ticket was going to be a good hitter.
You're right.
And he has some power, but you can't hit 150.
You're right.
Unless you're Jack Sawinski.
That's right. And also, I know you're absolutely right. And I think him and O'Neal Cruz is another guy that they need to take some time and work on hitting breaking pitches that aren't fastballs down the middle. They can hit that out of the park all day. As soon as you throw a little bit of an assortment to those two batters, especially O'Neal Cruz and Henry Davis, they strike out just about every time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's strikeouts for the Pirates. It's been a couple years now. And it's kind of frightening. I mean, you get guys in there, they strike out at about a 30% clip, and you can see why they don't score runs. I mean, that's just too many empty plate appearances.
A lot of them are looking, too. It's not even swinging strikeouts. It's just looking at the called third strike.
Yeah. Well, when I get the manager's job, I'm going to make some changes.
I'm voting for you. I don't even know you, but I'm already voting for you because I'm not a fan of the manager.
Jerry, you got my vote as well, and I cannot wait.
Okay, well, I'm going to go eat my spaghetti.
All right, enjoy your dinner, Jerry.
Enjoy your show. Thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Yes. All right. Well, that was two good calls. One about politics, one about baseball this time.
That was
so
good. I like that. Great job. We liked hearing from Jerry and from Dawn. So keep them coming, guys.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to have to go to break here real quick, and then we'll come back for our last segment. We'll go over the rest of the players. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
This 4th of July, relax in style and comfort with up to 20% off Flex Steel furniture. With Flex Steel leather power reclined sofas starting at $13.99. Get the ultimate sleep recliner, Z-Cliner by Flex Steel with triple power and zero gravity, just $13.49. Save up to 20% off at Western Pennsylvania's largest Flex Steel gallery, along with 12-month special financing and free delivery. The 4th of July sale only at AK Nayhouse Appliance, Furniture, Mattress, and TV. You'll do okay with AK.
Hello, this is Don Gatlin. I'm very excited to say that the very first show ever at the beautiful Beaver Community Center is on July 13th with the original Kenny Rogers Band featuring myself. It's going to be an amazing night through the years with the Kenny Rogers Band. There's going to be some great opening acts, Jared Krager and the Project Band. Tickets start at $25 and now they are available. Please call this number to get your tickets, 724-650-3960. Want to see everybody in Beaver County there. Let's do it.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjsprattfh.com.
The The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Also, make sure you get down to Twin Peaks Bar and Grill down in Robinson, 200 Park Manor Drive in Robinson, PA. They have eats, drinks, and scenic views. Make sure you tell Jules and Delaney that Brian from One Man's Opinion says hi.
I got to tell you, I mean, this last caller, Jerry, called it about the catchers. Look at how many bodies we went through this year. It was supposed to be Andy Rodriguez. God. And then once he was out for the season, okay, we accepted that. It's going to be Henry Davis. And then he ended out not going the way that you wanted. Then you bring in Grandel. Then you bring in Joey Bart. Then you bring in DeLay. I think they had another guy, I can't think of what his name was, who came up for one game.
Jake Taylor.
Taylor, was that? No, yeah, get out of here. But there was another gentleman. I think that's about 6 catchers they have.
The Pirates. You could at least said you were from the Yankees.
So I couldn't agree more with Jerry from the last call, but we do have some other positions that we do want to cover, right, Brian?
Yes, we went over Michael Taylor, Henry Davis, and Bart. Oliveras out in right field. Off and on right fielder.
I'm impressed. As you said, he's off and on. He's not every day. He was just 3 for 3 one day last week. I was looking at box scores. The guy does have power. He'll get you a random home run every now and then. That's all we want from somebody like Michael A. Taylor. Oliveras does that. Brian, I'm giving him a healthy, juicy B. I like Oliveras.
I got him down for a B as well. A B. Jack Zawinski.
Jack, he's tough because I like Jack.
I know.
I like Jack. I mean, last year he was working his way up to, it was less than 30 home runs, but he was certainly in the 20s. His fielding isn't fantastic. I like him. The guy has heart. I'm just trying to weigh it out here, the pros and cons. At the end of the day, I got to give Jack a C. I'm going to give him a C. I want to give him higher. He may deserve lower, but for right now, he's getting a C.
I gave him a nice, healthy F.
Did you really?
I know if you're going to strike out a lot, you still got to hit the ball.
I know. I know.
And the only reason he's up is because we've had so many center fielders go down, and that's the only reason he got called back up. It wasn't because of his play in AAA. He couldn't even hit AAA.
I know.
Okay, let's skip him. Ke'Bryan Hayes.
I think Ke'Brian's doing a solid job. I think his defense has been almost perfect all year. And I think, he's a streaky guy. When Ke'Bryan Hayes gets streaky, he's going to hit a lot of balls. There's going to be periods of time where he don't. I think with Ke'Bryan Hayes, he is what he is, and he also, I give him a B+.
I give him an F.
Okay.
And here's why. He's supposed to be our second best player. I know Cruz is maybe into that category as well, but Hayes he has back injuries all the time, and I really think that hurts him in the batter's box. It doesn't seem to affect him in the field.
Right.
So I don't know if it has something to do with his swing, but he just has no power. Zero power. I said last year, trade him, and then he went on like this huge hitting streak. So hopefully
that's what he does.
It happens again.
He pulls you back in is what he does. But you know what? I'm usually satisfied when he does that.
Totally redeem yourself.
But Brian, when he's not having a great offensive time, he still is a solid player at third base.
He is.
And
He's probably one of the best.
That hot corner is a tough position. That's why I give him the B.
You talked me into it. I'm going to give him.
Don't change your score.
I'm going to give him. Well, hold on. I'm going to give him. Hold on. F+.
All right.
I gave
fair
it
enough.
F+.
All right.
Not a D-, but an F+. All
right.
Triolo.
I like again. See, I'm the softy here. A good cop, bad cop. I'm definitely the good cop. I like Triolo. He hit a home run the other night. I think he's a solid player in the field, and he's the only guy.
Am I the bad cop?
You are the bad cop.
I need to get that stash back then.
You do, and he also I'm sorry, Brian. He also plays all infield positions, which I think is a huge advantage. He could play third, short, second, or first. For this reason, I got to give him a good score. He's not the most productive, but you know what? If he's plugged into that lineup, I'm okay with it. I'm going to give him a C+ to a B-.
C+. Okay. Once again, I give him an F. And here's why.
See, this is why you're bad cop.
This is bad cop. All right. You know, where were you on Friday night?
You're right.
Okay. I had the highest hopes for him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be our best infielder. I thought he was going to bat 300, and he's totally let me down. I thought he was going to be the big surprise. I thought he was going to be the Nick Gonzalez of the team. Okay. You know, but he's just not. And because I have such high hopes for him, he's way under that bar.
Let me ask you this a real quick question. I know we're short on time, but do you think the fact that they do shuffle their lineup so much,
it's annoying,
plays part to them not being able to be consistent as not just hitting but in the field, because day to day, instead of being able to get that comfortability, that sense of, all right, I have to control this position. I got to play this position. It's something different every day. Triolo could be playing short. Tomorrow he could be playing second. Today he could be in the lineup. Tomorrow he's not in the lineup. Do you think that the way that Derek Shelton handles this roster is hurting the production on this team?
I think everything he does hurts the production of the team. And yes, moving the lineup around. See, here's the thing. Whenever I played baseball, I always played the position of the pitcher.
Yeah.
Whoever was pitching that day, I played the position. And I had no problem moving around. But you know, I always did feel at home at second base. That was where I felt at home. But, you know, I played third, short, center, first, catcher.
These angles are so, I mean, say you're playing third base and a guy hits a ball 100 miles an hour down the line at you, and then you're playing second base the next night.
Oh, you have all day. You can trap it with your body and then just toss it over.
But look on the other hand, as fast as these balls move, the different angles and to be plugged into different positions night after night, it's hard. It's hard to get that comfortability, that confidence in yourself, I think.
All right. Let's get on a roll here. O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz, I think another one I wanted to give higher, but I got to go with D. His hitting just ain't doing it. But he is doing the thing that you say Sawinski should do, is hit the ball out every once in a while, even if you are going to strike out. So that's what
All right, I gave him a C-. Gonzalez, Nick Gonzalez.
I got to give Nick Gonzalez an A.
An A. I gave him a B just because, surprise, he kind of cooled off a little bit there, but I think he's back on track again. But yeah, solid B, big surprise.
Yes.
Rowdy Tellez.
You know what? He improved his grade over the past week. I'm not going to give him a much better grade because of that, because next week he could very well go back to what he's done. I'm going to give him a very shaky C- that could fall into the D tomorrow. Friday, I'm sorry.
I gave him a C. He's come from like F- territory all the way up to C from me. His batting average is like 240 now.
And he did steal a base yesterday.
He is fast.
Flash. Tellez.
All right, Connor Joe.
I think Connor's done such a solid job. He produced when other people weren't producing. He the one thing that's consistent about him is inconsistent coaching, because he is one of these guys that's going to be in a different position every day. I think he has played better than most people expected. I got to give Connor Joe a B for this season. There's not a lot of down from what he did this year.
I give him a B. Yeah, he's fallen off a little bit, but yes, he has been playing well. He had a nice play out in right field today too.
Yes.
Okay, the last guy we're going to go on offense here. Reynolds.
You know what? Bryan Reynolds, I always hold high up here and say, you know what, the money that we're paying him, I want to see that production. You were seeing that production. There's not been one game this June that he has not hit safe. He's hit home runs. He's doing all kind of great things. This is the Bryan Reynolds that we're paying for. This is the Bryan Reynolds that you want to see more often. This June, Bryan Reynolds gets an A with a big red A, in my opinion. Throughout the course of the season, he was certainly riding the average, the C, but you can't deny what he's done in June.
All right, I gave him a B+ because he started off really bad, but obviously he's been lights out ever since. Okay, because of time constraints, we are going to go through Bednar, Holderman, and Chapman. Can you just give me the grades for all three of those guys?
Bednar, he's certainly underachieved. I want to give him. I'm going to give him a D. He don't have the worst numbers, but from what we thought we were going to get from him, we're not getting. He gets a D. Chapman, he's not. I kind of wish he was a little bit more like the old Chapman, but again, that's just to me, that's a preference thing, and that's what you'd want to see. For Chapman, I'm going to give a C-, and Holderman, what can you say about Holderman? The guy does a great job every chance he comes in. He gets a B, so Bednar D, Chapman C, Holderman.
All right,
B.
I got Bednar C+, Holderman A+, and Chapman B-. So I think we're pretty close on all that. Okay, one more guy out of the bullpen, Ortiz, pitched today. What are your grade on him?
I'm not big on Ortiz. I think Ortiz is every other game. One day he does what he did today. The next game he could come out and let up 6 runs in one and a third.
That's why he's not in the starting rotation.
Yes, he's hanging on a low C.
All right, Falter.
Valter, I think that he's doing well. Not as well as you want him to do, but definitely better than I thought he was going to do. He gets a C+, B-.
All right, I give him a B-. Okay. And then Mitch Keller.
What can you say about Mitch? Yeah, he gets an A. There's
A+ for him. Jones.
Jones is an A. He's an A-. There's games that he does get beat up. He's not consistent in the sense that he gets the same results every game, but he is good enough to get that B. And I think you're going to go Paul Skeens last, correct?
Well, I had one more before him.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, Livy Dunn. What grade did you give her?
We could have had this conversation up at Twin Peaks. And okay, so we're going to talk outside of baseball a little bit. Livy Dunn, you got to give her an A+, and her boyfriend, I guess you give this guy an A.
I mean, just absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, that pitching staff, the worst is maybe like a B- is the worst on that starting pitching staff. Bednar, he is on the IL, so I would assume he's going to be out till maybe the break. I'm not quite sure.
Also, Brian, we do have guys coming back. Marco Gonzalez coming back. He's probably going to get thrown into the rotation. You have Joey Bart coming. You got G1 Bay. Things are looking better for the Pirates.
All right. Well, today was a great show. Make sure you check out Ryan tomorrow and Friday, every Monday through Friday, on the Two Dumb Yinders YouTube livecast every Monday through Friday, 11 to 12. So make sure you check them out on there. Also, a special thanks to Easy Home Exteriors and Twin Peaks for sponsoring the show today. And anything else, Ryan, before we go?
No, that's about it. Thank you for checking us out, everybody. Thank you for the calls. Go check out Twin Peaks. We'll see you next week.
All right, everyone. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We will see you back here in 167 hours.
Listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County